look at the mom. Look at the mother in labor. Look at the woman who is about to become a mother. Her signs, her emotional signs, her mental state, that's really what's going to tell you how far along in labor she is. So during this part of labor is the acceptance. You're not wondering anymore if this is labor. You've accepted it. This is labor. I am in labor. My baby is coming. It is happening right now. So in your body, your cervix is opening even a little bit more. It's becoming even softer. In your mind, you know it's happening. You know it's happening. So I've added in a little sliver of, if you were to look at regular textbooks or general textbooks, you would see early labor, active labor, transition, but I'm like, whoa, we missed something here. Let's back up. Little sliver of hard labor. There's a time during labor, before transition, after active really gets going, that things sometimes just really ramp up. Okay, it's not transition, it's not time to push, but things have intensified. They've really intensified. So by the time we get to hard labor, your cervix is moving towards, is just so close to being fully effaced. And then what that means, so here's our uterus again, what that means is, and here's our cervix, is that your cervix has completely lined up with the bottom of your uterus so that it can fully open and allow baby to come down. It is super soft. It's soft and pliable, stretchy. It is ready to do the final work. During hard labor is when your baby is really getting down in there now. Baby's moving down into your body. Your body is literally making room for your baby. Your hips are loosening up even more. The symphysis pubis, so let's see, how can I get my hips in here? I can't do it with my hands, but anyway, so in the front of your hips, you have the symphysis pubis that's together like this. During labor, it really softens so it can really move and kind of maybe just stretch open a little bit more. Your hips are nice and loose and they're widening to allow the baby come down. And you may even feel that in your hips. You may even feel those sensations of the stretching and opening and allowing that space. And it's good to know that, because that is exactly what you should be feeling. That is normal and it's safe, and it's just like, cause and effect. Hips are opening, you're going to feel that stretch and that openness. During hard labor, just as in active labor, it's the same. You could be anywhere from 4 to 8 centimeters dilated. Anywhere. Okay? The number that's assigned to your cervical opening does not determine the number of hours or minutes or days or whatever that you have left in your labor and your birth with your baby. It's just what your cervix is doing as you're moving through your own personal labor experience. During hard labor is a time when in the mind you become serious. The joke that was funny 2 minutes ago, maybe you don't even hear it now, but it's not funny anymore. Either it's not funny anymore or you don't even hear people say it anymore because you are just in yourself. This is when you move into that place of what some people call labor land. And it's just this beautiful process of where your mind begins to turn inward. You can still hear and see what's going on outside of your body, the people, the places, the things in the room, the sounds. You can still hear, see, sense, smell, all of that. But there is this turning inward that your body does when you really get closer to that transition. Okay. And so that's the part of labor where a lot of women refer to it as being hard work. You're working hard. Keep up your nourishment and your hydration because you need it. You need it during this work. All right. So we move from early labor, active labor, and hard labor, and then that leads us right into the very exciting time of transition. And I say it's exciting because then you know you are so close. You are so very close. You have come so far. Your mind, your inner self knows how close you are. This is the part of labor that may be scary. It's like uncharted waters. New things, new sensations, things that you haven't experienced before, they're happening now. And it's often sometimes scary when we experience something new. Our body's already turned inward. And now your body is beginning to make the big transition from helping your cervix to stretch and open for your baby's head to then moving things down and out. And like any transition in life, there can be challenges. Just a little recent example, we had a tree fall on our house during a winter storm. So glad everybody was okay and the damages weren't too bad. But that threw us and our whole family into this transition of needing to find somewhere to stay, fixing our home, and then coming back into our home. In every transition, there's change and there's growth and there are experiences that you've never experienced before, and they stretch us, and it's not always super pleasurable when we're going through transition and change, and we have our routine, and now our routine changes. And we're like, okay, what is happening? This isn't what I'm used to. And that's what transition is like. The routine is different now. Before, maybe contractions were every 4 minutes apart and you got a 3-minute break. Yes, it was hard, but you knew when to expect your break. You expected how long each contraction to be. There was a rhythm. You were handling it. You knew it was happening. You were ready. And then transition comes along and it kind of rocks the boat a little. And your uterus is really ramping up and finding this balance of finishing the dilation of the cervix, finishing that opening wide enough for your baby to move through, and working on moving your baby down and out of your body. So changes are going to happen. Maybe your contractions aren't 4 minutes apart anymore. Maybe now they're 2. Maybe now they're only 2 minutes apart, and instead of 60 seconds, they're lasting 75 seconds. And that only leaves you with less than a minute of a break. Maybe you have a contraction and it's building, and then it's coming down, and you've got this and you're doing it. And then before it comes down all the way for that itty bitty break, then another one ramps back up again. That's transition. This is the part of labor where some women experience self-doubt. This is the part of labor where in your mind you may be like, oh, can I do this? Or maybe you're like, I changed my mind. I changed my mind about all of it. and it's funny because sometimes in your mind when you're saying no, or I changed my mind, or I can't do it, what the people in the room with you hear coming out of your mouth may have a completely different story than what you're actually feeling inside. Oftentimes, when we're speaking out loud as laboring women through transition, we're not just speaking about what's happening in the moment. Sometimes we are, but sometimes what's coming up are those things, those other transitions in life that were hard and challenging, and they bring up that emotion, and the best thing to do is to feel it. Let yourself feel those emotions. Allow yourself in labor to be angry, to be sad, to cry. And who cares if the people in the room with you really know what you're crying about or not? Maybe it's because your pubic bone is just hurting so badly, or maybe you're experiencing some back labor and that intensity in your back is just feels like more than you can bear. Or maybe you're crying because 4 years ago you were pushed to your limit and it was sad and hard, and you were patient and kind and loving to those around you, and now in this moment is when you get to cry about it and let those emotions out. Transition is like, in your mind, is an emotional release. And that is a beautiful thing. It's one of the, it's a big part of preparing you to becoming a mother, or preparing you to become a mother again, or preparing you on your journey of womanhood. Like, that emotional release is huge. It's amazing. It's intense. And when that's happening, you know you are super, super close to getting to see your baby. And so following transition, our uterus changes from opening the cervix. I can't get my fingers wide enough, right? Maybe I should. Opening the cervix, right here. So opening the cervix, pushing down. Your baby's gonna be adjusting which way to turn in your pelvis to find the way through. So that's why sometimes the second stage, the pushing stage, sometimes it takes a little while because baby's finding their way through. Maybe turn left, maybe turn right, moving through the parts of the pelvis that have the different shapes. What is also, whenever I think of second stage, I'm like, yes. There are some other feelings too after having a number of children, but it's like, yes, this is where we want to be. Like the being patient part, we did it, we're here, now we're gonna work and we're gonna move our baby down and we're gonna have this baby, and we are so close to finally holding our baby, touching our baby, having our baby against our skin. We're so close. Contractions begin to space out some. They're not as close anymore. You may have a whole 6 minutes now or more between contractions, or less, but you get a nice break. And you may be thinking, oh, my contractions are slowing down. But oftentimes that's a great sign. Okay, that means you are in second stage. Your body is ready to move that baby down and out, and you can start working with your body to do that as well. Women often feel a renewed sense like, oh, I'm ready, I can do this. They're often a little more awake. Not always. Sometimes you're just plain out still exhausted and you've had a really long day, but you're still glad you're at this moment. You may have an urge to push, or you may not. Having an urge to push is not given, but you may have an urge to push, and the best thing to do is to follow your urge to push. Second stage can take anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours. Some women even go past that 3-hour mark during second stage. And remember, usually when that's happening, it's the baby finding its way through the pelvis. Your cervix is open. Your uterus is moving your baby down and out, and at the same time, your vagina. So here's your uterus, right? And here we have your vagina. It changes. Your vagina changes as your baby is moving down and out. Your vagina also relaxes and opens more. And that's why when people say, wait for your urge to push, because when you have the urge to push, that's kind of like your golden light saying your body is ready. All little bits of your body are ready. Follow your body. It was a beautiful process. So it's not just the uterus and the cervix, but it's also the vagina. It's the perineum, that place between your vagina and your rectum, that also softens and stretches and prepares. Like even the littlest bits of you are working to welcome this baby into the world. And that's labor. So that is your body during labor. It's your physical body, your emotions, your mental state. And in another video coming up soon, we'll talk about the third stage. That's when you have your baby in your arms. The next video I'll be sharing for you is the one thing that you can do every day to prepare for your labor and birth. So remember, you were born to do this. You are the boss of you, and you are worth quality care. If you like this video, please subscribe. If you would like to schedule a virtual visit with me, please visit motherlovechild.com.